a direct message from a well-meaning settler asking to be basically an ally. And just the way this was framed, there's some issues I have. But the only thing they really want to do is extract information from me without paying me, which is typical. And in fact, the nature of the questions are the same thing. So first and foremost, we don't need you to be vocal for us. You need to be amplifying the Indigenous people in your area that are already speaking out. Chances are, especially if you're in Alberta, that there is a high chance that we have treaty chiefs and grassroots community leaders that are speaking on whatever issue that you're facing and that you want to be a vocal advocate for. So this person says urban construction and rural farming. There are tons of natives that you could amplify rather than speaking for us. So if you don't know those people, then you actually have more homework to do before you can speak for us and be a proper ally. The pushback I always face is money over the Canadian government giving Indigenous nations. So that's always an argument that comes in bad faith, because if they did come in good faith, we never do that for any of the provincial and territorial transfers, and we never do that for any of the municipalities. We have over 634 nations. We have so many non-Indigenous people working at Indigenous Service Canada and for the Indigenous branches of the government. So they get all of their union stuff paid. They get all of their hours paid. They don't need to know anything about us to talk down to us, and trust any native will verify that is the case. So half of the money that goes to Indigenous services is literally paying their own bureaucracy that they created, because they have that many Indian agents and Crown agents in order to take away our money. Nice way to say it. Not to mention, this whole concept is missing from most Canadians. These are our lands and our resources. This is an imposed government that has their imposed bureaucracy that they choose to decide which monies go to us. Treaty says equality. Treaty says that we should be having governance. We have no governance whatsoever. When we talk about the Indian Act elected chiefs and council, they don't have the ability to think on their own. They have to follow the Indian Act. They have to follow the branches that they are determined to be a part of. So the chief is supposed to speak for the band, and all of the council members have portfolios that they have to stay within that jurisdiction, just like any MP can't go outside of their jurisdiction, and that's what they use as a talking point of pointing fingers. Oh, that's provincial responsibility. Oh, that's this portfolio. Oh, that's that portfolio. So the Indian Act literally created the very bureaucracy that we don't believe in our actual traditional governance, and there is no space for our traditional governance the way Canadians have it set up right now. So we have a boot on our neck no matter what. In good faith, I never say that the municipality of Calgary should not get that amount of money. I mean, I honestly, blah, 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 blah. But that is said about Natives because it's rooted in anti-Indigenous bias, racism, and settler colonial bias. So we have to start realizing that people who come in bad faith are just racist, and that they need to work on that anti-Indigenous bias. And then lastly, do you know resources that I can reference for numbers? So it's not like it's out there giving people information about that. I know Pam Palmater, she dug really deeply during the Harper years, so about 2012 to 2014, just banging off as much stats as she could in the capacity that she had on her blog. That's why I always promote her, and she has been on my podcast. So kind of back to this, listen to Indigenous voices, promote Indigenous people speaking on these issues, and always use sources from Indigenous people. Not to mention the numerous amount of things that I share regularly in all my different social media. Half of the books that we talk about are like Indigenous economics, yet no one's showing up to book club nor promoting those books. So we do need to see people understand that we are not talking on the same line here. And when people come in bad faith, you have to realize they are coming in bad faith and they're not necessarily on your side. So That's why I really struggle when people call themselves an ally, because they have no problem talking down to natives and extracting information. And they also have no problem extracting our money and our resources and then blaming us for being in poverty. If you looked at the Indian Act and if you studied the Indian Act, you would know that it is purposeful, systemic poverty on purpose. Any death you ever see from a native, whether they've gone missing or are murdered, that's why we call them exploited Indigenous people. That's the root of the issue, is colonial violence is causing all of this.